All right, guys, welcome. We've got two great deals. We've got one deal I cannot even believe. If you're in the market for this size of house, and it is a big house, it's something that you should look at. I drive by this house all the time. I've liked it since they built it a couple of years ago. So let's just jump right into it. Remember, we're always going to run our houses through BuyWise.homes to see if they're worth seeing, to try to uncover some potential deal breakers, because we want to focus our time when we actually get in the car and drive out to see a house. We want to focus that time on good candidates. We don't want to get to a house, realize there's a deal breaker, and it's something we could have uncovered before we made the appointment to go see the house. So let's just jump into this one. And this first house is in the Oakwood Gardens neighborhood. Now, if you're not excited about Oakwood Gardens, I get it. It is not going back 10, 12, 15 years. It was sort of kind of tucked in between some nicer neighborhoods. Just being honest with you there, the renovation activity was not super great. But where this particular house is located, which is right on 30th Avenue, which has an issue. There's going to be an issue here. If you're familiar with St. Pete, you know 30th Avenue. This is in a very good part of Oakwood Gardens, and the neighborhood itself has come back quite a bit over the last couple of years. I'm just going to point out some of the neighborhoods that you may be familiar with here. Greater Woodlawn, $1 million houses. Crescent Heights, $1 million houses. Allendale, $1 million houses. Magnolia Heights, maybe not as much. Allendale Terrace, larger houses. Allendale Park, maybe a little bit less. So this is also close to Euclid St. Paul. And so if you just take a look at how close we are to downtown here, maybe 10 minutes. You go down 30th to 4th Street, just surface streets. There's a little bit of rush hour traffic on 4th Street, but it's not terrible. And you're downtown. Or you pop onto 275, like say you're going to a game, the Trop is right around here. Jump on 275, you're downtown in just a couple of minutes. So this location is absolutely fantastic. This is in, and we know the first question on our BuyWise app is whether we're in a flood zone or not. And I know this neighborhood very well. You see here flood zone X, which means we do not have to worry about a flood zone. So let's just start with that. Is this house in a high-risk flood zone? It is definitely not. How long has it been on the market? Been on the market just 36 days. So a little bit over a month. So we hope that we're starting to get some pressure built up on the seller of this house. And let's see, how many price drops do we have? And this one is very interesting. And I'm not sure of the history. I believe that this house was built and kept by the developer, because I don't see any other transactions. It was only built a couple of years ago, and I'm not seeing any sold transactions. I could be wrong on that. But this house was put on the market in May for $975. Put on the market for $975, and they've dropped it 1, 2, 3 times for a total of around $75,000. So we've got 3 price drops for 75 grand. This is the kind of stuff we like to see, more than $50,000 on the price drop, and it's only been on the market a little over a month. This is a very responsive seller. Last price drop was just a few days ago, so less than 30 days. Now, we're going to get into the age of the systems here, but we also want to take a quick look at the year built, because this house was built in 2023, so we know nothing is older than 3 years. So the roof is less than 5, the AC is less than 5. We're going to assume it has impact windows. And the next question, does this house fit in with the neighborhood? Now that's the only question. Let's do a quick street view, because like I said, Oakwood has a lot of smaller houses. A lot of them have been renovated, some of them have been added onto, but I mean, look at the size of this one. 3,800 square feet, 7 beds, 5 baths. Now, this has an accessory dwelling unit, so they're combining that. So I think it's a 5-3 and a 2-2. I believe that's how they have it split up. So we see here, the house itself is a 5-3. Detached unit is currently leased for $2,600 a month. So let's take a look at the street view here, because we want to see if this fits in with the neighborhood. Honestly, it's a little bit oversized. I think that's just going to be a fact. And we'll look at the house across the street. You can see this is an old bungalow. Now this house, this is probably a couple years old, I think, because I believe, I drive down the street all the time. I believe this house has been fixed up, unless just in the last couple of months somebody has kind of let it go. You can see the roof sign there. So I'm not sure what the deal is there. And off in the distance, you can see the interstate, but there's no access to the interstate. Off of 30th, you got to go to either 38th or 22nd, which is, piece of cake, 5 minutes away, and then you get onto the interstate. So you can see houses tend to be a little bit smaller in this neighborhood. So let's just be honest and answer no. I'm going to say it's the nicest. I know it's the most expensive home on the market. There's probably not another $900,000 house. So it is a little bit nice for the neighborhood, but this would be a deal if you were looking for that kind of square footage. And what are first impressions of the listing? I'm going to say that this cover picture doesn't really do the house justice, to be honest with you. I think it is actually quite a bit nicer than this, even though there's nothing wrong with it. I don't know if they could have done some either shutters here or some trim color. We just have a kind of a wash of white, but tastefully landscaped. The yard looks good. So there's nothing wrong there. So I'm going to say it's average, decent main photo. And let's take a look at the score. Should we go see this one or not? And an 87, which is a must-see according to our BuyWise scoring. And why is it a must-see? Because we've got a very aggressive seller, number one. Even though the house has only been on the market a little over 30 days, we've got several price drops, and they're not inconsequential either. We're 76,000 down. That means somebody has said, I want to sell this house. So let's go through some of the pictures and drop a comment. Let me know what you think about this house. Now, it has an ADU. That's what we used to call a garage apartment. Not all of them were garages, and it's currently rented. So if you had extended family or something, that would be a great place. It's a newer house, got all the modern touches. It's 2-floor, decent sized primary. Got a landing up there, second bedroom. I mean, everything is gorgeous, 3 years old. I'm assuming these pictures, I don't know. I don't know if this house is currently empty. It doesn't say the main house is rented, so it's probably vacant and virtually staged. And not a ton of pictures for a $900,000 house, only 15 pictures, which is a little bit unusual. So drop a comment, let me know what you think. I'm going to tell you, I have not seen a deal like this in, I don't know, 5 years, since pandemic, maybe just before. $234 a square foot for a house that was built in 2023 in a good neighborhood, 10 minutes to downtown. Now, obviously the price per square foot is a little lower because you peak at around 1,700 square feet. That's where you're going to get your peak per square foot pricing, and because that's kind of the meat of the market. And then it's going to start to come down. Obviously 3,800 you could argue is a little bit oversized, but that's split among 2 living areas. So not 2 living areas, but 2 actual houses in a sense. So drop a comment, let me know what you think. I'm going to say, if you've got the budget and you're going to generate $2,600 a month for the next 8 months or so on the accessory dwelling unit, and probably rent it out again after that for that amount, I think this is a deal. Drop a comment, let me know what you think, and let's take a look at house number 2. All right, here is house number 2, and this one is in the Lakewood Estates neighborhood. Now this is on the south end of St. Pete, and we'll just take a quick look at the map because you can run into some flood situations over there. So let's just take a quick look now. It seems like it's tucked in there kind of nice. We're a little bit away from the bay. However, Lakewood Estates, which is this part right here, is close to the lake here. And so you get some flood zone houses along the lake here. So let's just double check to make sure. And there we go, flood zone X right there. So we're not worried about, so it's not in a high risk flood zone. And let's see, how long has this house been on the market? 21 days on the market, just 3 weeks, a little bit less time than we would like. We like to see a lot of pressure get put on sellers after that 30-day mark. And how many price drops have they had? Now, it's just went on the market a couple of weeks ago, so at $595, but 20 days later, they didn't even wait a month, they dropped it 20 grand. Now, that doesn't tell us we've got desperation here, but that does tell us that we've got a listing agent and seller that are aligned. They didn't get the action they wanted when the house went on the market, so they dropped it, and they didn't do it a nominal amount. They dropped it a pretty substantial amount, 20 grand for the first. So Size of price drops, less than 20,000. Last price drop was less than 30 days ago. And let's see if we got some information on the systems here. We always want to know the AC, roof, electrical, and plumbing if possible, because those are your 4 points that you need to be satisfactory in order to get insurance. So we've got a 2019 roof, so, and a brand new AC. So we've got good system situation there. So 6 to 10 years on the roof and new on the AC, which is great. Windows, have they been updated? Let's see anything. It looks like that's a newer door, new window. We don't know if they're impact based on that. So those windows were updated at some point, but they may not be impact windows. Does the house fit in with the neighborhood? And let's take a look at the street view. This is typical of the houses in the area. Now, this was clearly pre-renovation because that's not the front door anymore. Now, obviously, we're on 54th Avenue South, which is 4-lane road split by a median here. But you can see in even this Google Maps, the traffic is not terrible. You have some cars coming here. It might be a little bit too much traffic for some people. But the question that we're answering here is, does it fit in with the area? I would say yes, it fits in with the area. And what are our first impressions of this listing? I'm going to say I'm a sucker for dusk shots. Almost all houses look better when they do that. And the yard looks pretty good. They replaced the front door. They might have even replaced the windows here. But we'll say it's an average decent photo. Not necessarily a scroll stopper, but pretty nice. And we got a score of 63. So this one's going to fall on the low priority. Now, why is that? It's primarily because it's a little bit new to the market with only one price drop. You know, a decent price drop, but just one price drop. I think that's probably what's holding this one back. But I think with a $20,000 price drop so quickly and some new systems, a new roof, a new AC, this is not a terrible, oh, and I missed this. This does have new windows. So if we did that score again, it might bump it up into the 70s, I think. So this is a new renovation with a little bit of an older roof. It's a 4.2 with 1,740 square feet. Let's buzz through the pictures real quick. I still think the price might be a little bit high, but they've done some nice stuff here. They got a decent pool. Looks like the sort of old cool deck. There's no cage around it. I mean, it looks nice, certainly in the dusk shot there. Some nice landscaping. Open living area, nice and bright. And a fireplace. So this is a really nice renovation, I would say. Drop a comment, let me know what you think. I think sometimes it's better to be a little bit early. And this might be the case with this one. This is a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,740 square feet. So you got plenty of room. Priced at $330. I'd like to see it maybe in the $315 range. So maybe at $549, I think this would be a better price. I'll be honest with you, probably will get there if they're not getting action at this price. I wouldn't be surprised to see another drop within a couple of weeks. But let me know what you think. Those are two great deals. I think that first house is fantastic. If you need that kind of square footage, I think that's something that you should take a look at. Drop a comment, let me know what you think. Subscribe to the channel. My name is Steve Reynolds. I'm a realtor here in St. Petersburg, Florida. If you're looking to buy or sell in the area, shoot me a text, give me a call, send me an email. I would love to help you out. And with that, I will see you next time.